welcome to Uprisings. I'm Muriel Krabs, and I'm here today with the founder of Tennis for Kids, Hank Mergis, and Denise Dunn, whose title I'm not quite sure is. What is it?
It's the president of the York Adams CTA.
Oh.
YACTA.
All right. York Adams CTA stands for?
Community Tennis Association.
All right. And Denise is a friend of mine, of sorts. So Hank, I'm so excited that you guys decided to come here. I started this show to show people in the community that there are things and places to go and to do with their children. I know that Denise has been involved in our area in Hanover in getting the tennis rackets into the hands of many children. Mm-hmm. And I understand that that's sort of something that has happened through the help of the USTA. Is that accurate?
I think so, sure.
Mm-hmm. Now, you started Tennis for Kids in 1948?
Not exactly 48. It might have been I'm trying to think, 87, 88, 89.
Right, I was wondering, what does 1948 come from?
It wasn't my birthday. A little earlier than that. That's probably a typographical error.
Okay.
It's one of the few mistakes I ever make.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, all right, so explain to us what Tennis for Kids is.
Well, Tennis for Kids originated back in that era, and it actually got off the ground in 1990.
Okay.
Let's see, 80, 90. At any rate, it was started because the people at the time thought that there wasn't enough for children to do. Mm-hmm. And so a few of us got together and were wondering, well, what can we do? And the idea of tennis surfaced. So it got off the ground, and it was free for all children, mm-hmm. all races, all creeds, all colors, everything. We figured that we want to do something that will be helpful to the community, give children something to do that can they do for not just a day or a week or a summer, but a lifetime. And that's the beauty of tennis.
Right, I've just sort of started myself, sort of late in the day, if you might say, but I am enjoying it so much. I absolutely love, particularly being outside. But that's how we're supposed to get our vitamin D, isn't it? Under the sun and
that's what they say.
And running around. I was going to tell you. I asked my son the other day. I said, "Jake, can I get better? Can I get faster?" And he said, "Mom, you know, the first thing you could do is lose some weight."
Oh dear.
I was grateful for the suggestion.
You can pay his tuition next semester.
Yeah, I'm still going to support him. When you talk about starting this program, though, you're talking about in the York area?
It started in the York area in the city, and one of the driving points was the fact that most children from the average family, families can't afford tennis lessons. Right. They just simply can't do it. It's impossible. At that time, tennis lessons were like $35 or $40 an hour, and of course the price has escalated. So that was one of the driving points behind it. And we thought we'll give the children something to do so that they can carry forever and ever. And one of the results is that we've heard from coaches throughout the county that the children learned to appreciate the game of tennis and went on to continue it through professional and other lessons, and became, most of the kids who play high school tennis today, from what people tell me, came out of the Tennis for Kids program.
Right.
We don't pretend that we taught them, but we whetted their interest, and they progressed to where they are today. Now, I've not done the numbers exactly, but I think that over the years we've had something like 10,000 children in the program.
Isn't that amazing?
Last summer, we had 1,422, which is a very good year.
When you first started, how many sites did you have?
My guess, or my recollection, is we had 3 or 4 in the city, in the inner city.
Where were they?
Farquhar Park and Penn Park and Allen Field. And the program has grown, and we now have 20 sites, and Steph will tell you that we're looking for even more sites. People are coming to us today. And it's a question of being able to finance the sites.
Oh, really?
Because, yes.
How are they paid for?
Thanks to the good people of good business people, caring business people, caring individuals. we're able to sustain our operation. Our budget runs around, depends, 38 to 40,000 a year.
No kidding. Now, with that budget, do you provide tennis rackets for the children?
Oh, yes. Well, children bring their own tennis rackets, but if a child shows up without a tennis racket, then we will provide it. And then after the child takes 6 lessons, we give the child the racket.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
And it's all made possible because of the USTA and Middle States, and they've helped us financially. They help us with rackets. I could tell you stories on end about that. Like one day, 23 cases of rackets were delivered to my home. I didn't know what to do with them, but
How many are in a case?
30.
Okay. I'll do the math later.
Yeah, I'm bad on math, so don't ask me that.
That's one of the goals of the United States Tennis Association is to grow tennis and use grassroots organizations like Hanks to get children playing tennis and growing the sport. So it's been a win-win for USTA.
I had read, I mean, I'm now, because I've got a little USTA number myself and going to be playing on, or am playing on a mixed doubles team, I get the magazine. So I was reading the magazine the other day that I think since Patrick McEnroe has been involved, his goal has really been to grow the sport significantly. Now that's just been over a couple of years. You've been involved for years and years prior to that. Did you play tennis as a kid?
No, I never learned to play tennis until I was 50.
No kidding.
And I got tennis lessons for Christmas. And I went from there on, and I just loved the game. And I can recall what it did for me, and I was very busy in those years as the editor of the paper. I would be exhausted at the end of a day mentally, and some would say, "Oh, how about a singles?" And that's most of what I played, and mostly against people younger than I. And I said, "Oh God, I can't move one foot in front of another, but I'll try." And I'd go out at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, play an hour and a half in the hot sun, and be invigorated until 11 or 12 at night.
I am exactly finding the same thing. I practice law. And do a lot of custody work. Believe me, a lot of the cases that I am involved in are enervating. They drain instead of invigorate. And it just feels so wonderful to get out there, and you have to keep your eye on the ball, and if you're not keeping your eye on the ball, then you're not hitting, and so not thinking about what you have to focus. And I also play ping pong in the morning.
Oh, that's great.
That's a lot of fun. I was there this morning for half an hour batting it around.
That's
but
great.
It's a great way to start the day. But exercise for all of us. Again, what my goal with this show is to help people see that there are other ways of dealing. We're going to be looking at possible time off, more likelihood of perhaps addictions, perhaps problems in marriages because there's strain on their relationship because of the finances. Tennis, and Denise, you've pointed it out, is a good family sport, isn't it?
Yeah, all my children play, my husband, and it's a great way to spend time with your children and, put your angst out there in the tennis court.
Well, and Hank said he started when he was 50.
Yeah.
So that leaves it open for a lot of people to pick it up.
Oh, it's a lifetime sport, and that's what's the great attributes of tennis.
And the other thing is you can build friendships through the game.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that was a factor which led us to start this, to bring children together from all socioeconomic strata, and they could learn that they'd mix, and they'd learn that nobody has horns or warts or stuff like that, that they feel the joy and the pain like we all do. Everybody does. An interesting point. We've had children from Japan, South America, all across the country when they come to York for vacation who are part of our program.
Oh, nice.
In fact, some of our sites look like a little United Nations, and it's interesting. There were 2 boys from Russia who were at Northeastern a couple of years ago, and they wanted to learn to play tennis real fast. Now, that's very possible, don't you?
Yeah.
You can learn real fast. And, well, what was the hurry? Well, they wanted to meet Maria Sharapova, who at the time was about 16.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever find out whether they follow through with that?
I didn't think it was worth the effort.
They go over to the court and say, "Do you come here often?"
Yeah, right.
Or however, yet is the answer. How nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Denise and I were playing a couple of weeks ago and noticed some Mexicans. I presume they were Mexican. They're Spanish-speaking guys who came on the court with their little boys, and they had in their hands
Racquetball
rackets.
I know.
And they had, a thing of balls, and Denise was like, "Oh, gee, if I had the key to the shed,"
Yeah,
because right
yeah.
there, you do have tennis rackets in there,
right.
to just give them the equipment, and also, and I was saying we should let them know about the Tennis for Kids, and we put up the sign right in the right next to the tennis courts. But there are people, and as you say, can use it as a way to become a part of the fabric of our society.
Oh yes, this is very true. For instance, to illustrate that, at one of our sites, I think it was last summer, there were children from it was at a York suburban site. There were children from 5 or 6 different schools, so that they get to mix and they get to know each other and they get to make friendships, and some of these friendships can last a long time.
Another thing that I liked about it, my daughter played and had been at some camp, and the gentleman running the camp gave a speech about how these teenagers, young people, are responsible for their own calls, for the line call, so there's a level of honesty and integrity that comes along with it that they learn the value of, because guess what, the guy on the other side is a line judge too, and if you don't call his in right, you might not get yours called in right. So there's this real give and take, and then of course the activity itself.
Well, along those lines, our program is very structured, but yet it isn't. You'd be surprised to know that we have a lot of teachers in our program who lead the program on site, and they have experience with children, of course, and we follow the Arthur Ashe tennis program for instruction, which is, we have lesson plans for every day. But our site directors are so skilled that they're able to bring children in and quickly assess their abilities and get them into groups. At the rate, we keep a ratio of 1 instructor for every 10 kids.
Oh
and
my
so,
gosh.
so it keeps them moving.
Wow, you really are doing a lot.
Well, our people are doing a lot.
Yeah.
Our people are doing a lot.
The other nice thing about Tennis for Kids is the fact also that the children that went through our program now are now becoming either site directors or coaches, and it's like a revolving door that they're coming back to give back to the sport.
And they're bringing more in with them. Now, I'm going to have your president come and talk to us about the specific courses and sites, etc., that she's going to be doing. We're going to have to take a break here in about 30 seconds. So
Can I just add one more thing,
Yes.
though? We should announce that Hank Murgis recently received the United States Tennis Association Eve Craft Award, which is a national award. It's a very, very prestigious award, and we are very fortunate to have this man been recognized for all his efforts and his time, and he's invested in the York community in the last 18 years.
well,
Thank you, Denise.
he's such a nice man, and I think you said you'd been the editor of the York Dispatch, so you still have a target on your back for some people. You might not be everybody's cup of tea. I'm teasing, of course.
Well, that was an experience, but that's long over, I still do a column twice a week,
Oh,
however.
how nice. Okay, well, we're going to be taking a break and be back soon. Welcome back. We are doing uprisings, and I have as my guests this afternoon individuals with the Tennis for Kids. I have the president with us, Steph. Now, Steph, you're going to have to tell me your last name again, please.
It's Campisi.
Campisi.
That's correct.
Now, that's Italian.
That's correct.
Do you know what it means?
No, I do not.
I think that everybody in this country should find out what their last name means if it's in some other language.
Good idea.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
I'll work on that.
Get back to me
Okay,
with that.
I'll get back to you.
All right, until then. And I'm also with Denise Dunn, and I guess Dunn is just finished.
Right, we are always finished.
Yes, so glad to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
I'm actually thrilled to have both of you, and the fact that this Tennis for Kids is so active in this area. I've been concerned that we are maybe not giving to our children some opportunities for health. They've had all sorts of electronics. You know, I do a lot of custody work, as I say, and I'll sometimes talk to a parent and they say, well, I punished Johnny. And I said, what's the punishment? Well, he has to go to his room, and in his room he's got the television and the VCR and the DVD and the computer and the video games. And tennis is just so not. I mean, what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful way for a person to spend their time. So you're the president of Tennis for Kids.
That's correct.
How long have you had that position?
January a year. Hank decided to retire, and he had called me and asked if I would be willing to consider the position. And I thought, I don't know why he's asking me.
She's a legend in this area, too. She's a great tennis player, and we were thrilled when we heard the name.
Well, I understand that you had been a tennis, are you still a tennis coach?
No. I coached at Central Girls for about 12 years.
Oh, isn't that fun?
And I thought, a dozen's a nice time. You know, it's time to retire. And it was shortly after that that Hank contacted me, and he asked me to sit down when he asked me, so which I did, and I still was pretty shocked. And I have pretty big shoes to fill. The program is much larger and it's much more involved than what anybody realizes. Everybody's very surprised when they hear.
Well, how many? Okay, Tennis for Kids is basically tennis lessons for local children over a specific period of time in the summer. Is that correct?
It runs a 5-week period, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 11 at most of our sites.
And when does it start?
It starts June 22nd.
Now, how do the children in the area know about it to apply or to appear to play?
Right. Well, we send registration forms out to the children that were the former players, and we've been trying to get the word out just everywhere. You know, we put flyers at hairdressers, and we try to get them into the schools, and you know, just anybody and everybody that we talk to, we try to get the word around.
Now, I think Denise is in charge of several sites. Is that correct?
I'm over in the Hanover area, and I oversee the New Oxford, Littlestown, and the Southwestern site.
So there's 3 sites there. Now, I think I know from you that you have the applications in the schools. Is that right?
Right. We try to get the forms distributed through the schools. It's quite a laborious process when you talk about York area, though, trying to get all the the number of children, and it's costs a lot of money to get these forms out to all the boys and girls. We don't have as many boys and girls, and our CTA, the Community Tennis Association, pays for duplicating them and getting them out to all the children in our area.
So when you say our CTA, you mean
the York Adams Community Tennis Association pays for that.
Does York have a Community Tennis Association as well?
They are and also a Community Tennis Association, but they're a single purpose for Tennis for Kids. I'm a multi-purpose because I run a myriad of programs.
All right, well, there are quite a few, because we were talking about the fact that adults are now playing. And I do have to say, guess what? Well, Denise is a coach for DeLone's boys and girls team. And when my daughter was there, I became the assistant tennis coach. And I told everybody that all I really needed for that was to pass a criminal background check and have a van. And
there you go.
And so, but what a wonderful time. Yes. Isn't it just a great thing?
It's fabulous. I miss the girls terribly.
I just
you really develop a relationship
so
with them, and it's really nice to see them grow from the time they come in as freshmen until they graduate as seniors. And I always cried when they left. I was like a big baby, you know.
Well,
but I love those girls.
This Tennis for Kids now. You are not only reaching these kids at the Central, but
everywhere.
Is it all over York County?
Pretty much.
What is
we
the
go up to
further-
Littlestown. Yes, Littlestown is our
the further
further
west.
southwestern.
What's north?
North.
Northern?
No, we don't have northern.
Northeastern.
Northeastern. We do have northeastern. That's correct.
And then in the south, what's the furthest south?
We have. We're trying to work on. We got a phone call this year. Susquehannock would like to have a site.
Okay.
So that would be our 21st site if that would go through this year. And we received permission from York College to go there this year, and we're trying to work out the details for that as well.
Now, anyone watching this there may be someone watching saying, gee, I'd like to get involved or make sure my grandchildren are doing this. So how would you suggest that they get in touch with you and would it be with you necessarily?
It could be with me or with Hank, or really anybody that's involved with the program would be able to tell you, which site would maybe be the closest to your home or what have you. We do have a website.
That is probably the real answer. What?
The website, tennisforkidsyork.com.
Okay. We'll check with Hank and see for sure. But if they went on the site, then they could see where all the sites are, and then perhaps even download an application.
Yes, yes, that's what we hope to have for this summer.
And also on my website, I'll be putting it on our website for our CTA, which would be the yorkadams.usta.com. And I think for Tennis for Kids, york.usta.com would be, because the USTA supports the site.
I see.
Do you all have employment possibilities? That is, if someone's watching and they had been playing tennis in high school or college and want to see about getting a part-time job in the summer, are there possibilities? Who do you actually hire to help
absolutely.
out?
I mean, certainly if you know about tennis, but especially if you know about children and how to work with children. And we're always looking for good people. And Hank's famous line is, we're always looking for cold hard cash and warm bodies. Well, that's his famous line. He will be known for that forever.
So do you actually pay people to help out?
Yes, absolutely.
And the funds for the pay, where do they come from?
They just come from good-hearted people and, businesses. We try to get people to sponsor, and then we'll put up a banner at a different site of their request. And that's how we raise our money, basically. The board and, there's a lot of volunteers that are not paid, but all of our instructors, site directors, assistant site directors, they are all paid.
So that if a potato chip company, say, would give you a certain sum of money, you could put...
Absolutely.
I see.
Absolutely. We're always out drumming the sidewalks looking for...
And I guess fundraising is a real...
It's a
part of
all year long
project.
Absolutely.
Well, and how many did Hank say, how many thousands did he say?
10,000 plus.
10,000
plus over the 18 years.
Yeah.
But the last year was like 1,400, wasn't
it?
Right.
1422 I think we had last year.
Oh,
which was a record, I think.
And you start now very young, don't you? At what age?
Usually 8. Sometimes we'll take them a little bit younger. We let the site director usually determine that. If somebody comes and they have a brother or sister, that would like to come with the older child, if the site director feels as though they're mature enough, we'll let them come on board.
I just think it's such a great thing, particularly in the summertime. And I've been at Farquhar Park.
Oh, yeah.
What a crazy name,
it's
but
like,
a lot of fun up there.
It's like the start of tennis almost, Farquhar Park. Everybody started playing tennis at Farquhar Park.
Denise's course, I got there because the tennis team went over there from Delone. That's when I got to use the van to drive the kids over to Farquhar Park. But also, we were talking about Tennis for Kids, but Denise, your CTA is involved in bringing people to tennis who are other than just kids, right?
Right. We provide programs for adults and juniors. Our programs will be starting, I actually have some ladies' clinics that'll be starting in April. We have a kickoff, our big jamboree, May 9th. At Southwestern, and at that point we then start our drop-in tennis in the mornings and evenings for adults, and we're actually have a new ladies USTA team out of here, which you are part of, the 2.5 ladies team, and we have a new 3.0 3.0 men's senior team is a new team out of our area. Hanover itself, just because of the fact we have some excellent tennis players, we have some national winners, and we have teams that have been going. We have a men's senior team that's gone back to nationals for the 3rd year in a row. So we're really excited. Hopefully this year they'll bring home the gold, we're hoping. And so we run a lot of adult programs. But we also, starting this next week, we start our spring junior league tennis program that we run. It's a 6-week program on Saturdays, and we run it out of several sites in the area. So we start that program, which then is also a nice segue into the Tennis for Kids program, because almost at the end of May, when we finish that program, they get the registration forms for Tennis for Kids.
Right.
And that way they already have the information for that free program. They pay a nominal price to be in our program, but then they get opportunity to play 5 weeks with free lessons.
There is so much to learn about these programs, and I mean, again, I can't think of a better way to suck up our vitamin D than to be outside hitting those tennis balls around.
And trying to lose some weight.
And that's right. Now back to what Jake said. I again was grateful for his suggestion to me to get off some pounds, and you can do that playing tennis, right? It's great exercise. Mm-hmm. It beats going to the gym. We really only have a minute or so left, and I'm not sure. I mean, there's just, again, so much. I mainly want to just jump up and hug you for doing this. I'm really and truly, I can't think of anything more important than working on the health of our children. And I mean, in the long term, they're really who we're going to turn to help take care of us in our old age. And it's been too bad to see so many of them out of shape.
Oh,
this
my,
is a
that's
place,
true. Right.
and I know Denise, and I'm going to do it very quickly for you because we only have a minute, but working on trying to get an indoor facility in our area so that she can have also have classrooms attached so kids can come after school. Part of the problem is our diet, but a big part of our problem is our lack of activity. And thank God for you and for everybody with Tennis for Kids, and for Hank for whatever years he was there.
Oh my goodness,
And I'm
yes.
going to say thank you for coming.
Well, thank you very much for
We
having
appreciate
us.
this.
And thank you for watching Uprisings.